as if there is a tornado on the ground.
Chris, new video coming into the Weather Channel right now from Chattanooga, showing some of the damage and some of the destruction here as we see the view here with dark skies overhead. National Weather Service saying it was an EF3 tornado that did this damage. And a short time ago, Dave Malkoff talked to one man who survived the tornado in Chattanooga. His house collapsed all around him. Richard, can you tell me exactly where you were? Can you show us where you were when this tornado struck? You didn't even know about it.
No, I didn't. I was watching television.
Where was
Right
the chair
here.
you were sitting?
Right here. This chair right here. Oh, there's a remote. Look at that.
Wow. So how did you survive?
By the grace of God. Period. That's it.
The tornado threw you from this chair to that chair up there.
Yeah. See, this wall fell down. I heard Noah say, like that. And I wound up over there. And when I looked up, I felt the rain falling on me. And I looked up and saw the sky.
And
So it's gone.
let me ask you, if you hadn't fallen
looked
asleep
that
watching TV, if you hadn't fallen asleep watching TV, where would you be? Where's your bed?
Look. It's back under that. See that pile of wood over there?
Yeah.
It's over there.
On top of all this, you've got the COVID crisis, and you've got people trying to socially distance, but that kind of goes out the window in something like this, right?
I don't know if it goes out the window.
Yeah.
You still gotta be conscious of it, but at this moment in time, you're just trying to get yourself together and see where you're going from here.
Wow. Lucky indeed. Unfortunately, this threat is not over yet. Still some storms. In fact, a tornado warning in effect for the Delmarva right now, south of Philly and east of Washington, D.C. There is a tornado warning that is currently in effect. You can see it right here going across the Maryland-Delaware border for Carolina and Kent counties here.
Man, that thing had some power last night. Started in Louisiana, went up through Mississippi, hit northern parts of Alabama, went all the way over in parts of Georgia. I think Atlanta got hit. Then Chattanooga, Tennessee. And it just kind of went up the Appalachian Mountain Trail. And this is where it's ending up right here. God, that's ferocious. That kind of power to do that quick.
Lebanon rise.
Once more, this is all part of the equation in regard to the environmental crisis that we're in right now. We're not just in one crisis. We're in several different crises this time right now. We're in a medical crisis. We're in a financial crisis. We're in an environmental crisis. We're in several different crises. And it's not just here in America, it's throughout the planet. Once more, it's part of the scriptures coming true that in the last days Satan will rise up in great wrath because he knoweth his time is short. And the reason why Satan knows that his time is short is because he's intellect. And he knows that he has failed in this competition that began thousands of years ago towards defeating the Almighty in his kingdom. And because he knows that he has failed, now he's rising up in great wrath, regardless whether it be drive-bys or mass shootings or the drugs that has inundated the country and all the problems pertaining to the people being arrested and the mass abortions and the mass divorces and the other mass things that's going on. I mean, it's just compacted one on top of the other to the point of where we are right now. And I don't think I've ever seen a storm this powerful that moved this quick with this much energy that now is all the way up towards where it is right now.
sun, some of the cities in line for this tornado warning. So you get to the interior-most portion of your home, a basement if you have it. The threat for severe weather ongoing at the moment. Right now, we can see the tornado warning outlined in red. Several severe thunderstorm warnings also in effect here in the northern part of Delaware, including Wilmington, going into Philadelphia. The southwest side of town is under a severe thunderstorm warning right now. Then a little bit farther to the north, going into New York and the northern portion of Pennsylvania as well, for parts of Bradford, Susquehanna, and Wyoming counties, including Binghamton right now. Severe thunderstorm warning currently in effect. Damaging winds, certainly a possibility, and those winds can bring down trees. So as we've seen so far today, being on the roads can be dangerous. If you're in your vehicle when trees are coming down, which is a possibility. We've seen so many power outages as well. Well over 1 million customers from Texas to New York without power. Lightning associated with these storms. Again, we're tracking severe weather, flash flood threat, and the ongoing tornado threat right now in the mid-Atlantic and of the Northeast.
The new deep workout to get women a lean, not bulky, feminine body. And now you can do it for free. People pay up to $35 to take my classes and learn the secret to slimming and shaping their bodies. But my goal is to reach as many people as possible. So the first 25,000 people this week who text the code below to 505050 can take unlimited classes in my studio. But there's a catch. You never actually come to my studio. I will come teach my Extend Bar classes every day right in your home on the OpenFit Fitness and Nutrition app. So now you can always get the best spot in class. With 30-minute Extend Bar workouts you can stream to any device.
Against tornadoes. So now, in just hearing this recent news, I agree about it adding insult to injury, which your previous guest just mentioned. It's exactly what I just said a minute ago. And we are now going to pivot. This entire corona situation has been pivoting. You know, you figure out one thing's important, then you have to move, and you have to be able to be nimble enough to move to the next thing. So for me, we're going to pivot part of this operation to give some of our corona kits, their preventative kits with hand sanitizer, with immune builders, with vitamin C, with some protective equipment, with gloves, with wipes. We're going to send some of those along with just traditional aid for a normal hurricane, earthquake, or tornado to those areas in the South you just mentioned, to Tennessee, to Mississippi, to Georgia.
That's great. I'm reading you've reached out to 15 different states. Is that list growing?
The list is growing. Yeah, we had sent 50,000 hazmat suits to Louisiana. We've sent 1 million hazmat suits to New York State, 200,000 masks to New York City, and PPE to hospitals around the country. And we are just distributing every day, allocating, vetting, inspecting, distributing. And now this adds a new element to it because, like, there's certain areas that were hit twice now and have nothing, and then they have less than nothing. So we're just going to keep moving, keep helping, keep working with local governments, and do our part.
Yeah. I'd like to know how people are staying sane through this. It's another way of saying how you coping. I see how you're coping, though. I mean, you're getting in and you're getting the work done.
I'm getting in, I'm getting work done, I'm trying to get rest, I'm trying to be organized, I'm trying to be structured with my daughter, I'm trying to stay safe. I'm realizing that anxiety is normal, that people should be feeling scared. People are broke, people are being abused, people have no money, people will have no jobs. I mean, people have to just come together and pivot and find ways to create new successes and structure in their life. And so I'm trying to be part of the solution, trying to come from a place of yes and just have a positive attitude as best I can.
Yeah. You got some help from Billy Joel, Matthew McConaughey. I imagine you're getting help from a lot of people. How can everyday folks help, Bethany?
Yes, there have been probably 50 celebrities, big name celebrities that have helped, but it's really the regular American that has helped. The person who, the person who donates 50 cents, $1, $10. You know, someone said to me that the March of Dimes during polio, people were donating 50 cents a piece, and it really made a difference. So people have started to donate $10 a piece. We've raised millions of dollars, and you're spreading the word, and you're donating to Bethany.com/BeStrong. It makes a difference. The regular person, the hairdresser, the waitress, it's the poor person who's been donating, and they're making a real difference in the world in addition to the wealthy person. So
Amazing
every
stuff.
penny counts.
100% all goes in, right? All of it.
Every 100% goes to the effort, as always.
What's your dog's name?
This is Smalls, and then I have another one named Biggie. Biggie, come here. Biggie and Smalls, they're 1 litter, 15 pounds difference. They're never apart.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bethany. Nice to see you. Bethany
Thank you.
Frankel will get the website out there as well. Thanks. You can find more stories of people coming together in this time of social distancing and information on how you can help. Always online 24/7 at foxnews.com. In the meantime, President candidate Joe Biden getting a big endorsement today. We'll tell you about that. Meanwhile, the Trump team...
It is so sad because it's as if the planet itself is suddenly under siege. And, you know, we kind of felt that way or thought that way during the time of 9/11. We felt like that we was under siege, in which we was, by this evil demonic entity. This entity that was coming from overseas, that was trying to basically break or bend or tear or destroy America in Americans' ways. But now we're realizing that it's not just coming through a human substance form, but now it's actually coming from different entities, regardless whether it comes from a microscopic germ, or it's coming in the form of droughts, or coming in the form of floods, are coming in the form of tornadoes, are coming in the form of misguided governing type situations that have been out of hand for quite some time, that now we're realizing is more and more out of hand. So basically we're under siege. We are under siege as a Christian society up onto the planet. And the Bible is very clear towards saying that pray that you're worthy to either escape these things that are going to be fallen upon to humanity, or pray that you can endure them. Because these will be trying times for society, indicating that these things will be fallen upon to humanity. And if they don't fall upon to humanity in one form, they'll fall upon to humanity in another form. And that's what the Windmill Ministries here at 291 Thompson Road has been trying to put out red flags. We've been trying to put out warning signs, advisories to the people pertaining to a bloody road ahead, pertaining to mass casualties that we're now seeing on a level such as we haven't experienced in quite some times, with all these fatalities, with the death toll. It's unprecedented in what we're seeing and how that we're seeing it, that is elevating to the level that it's elevating on right now. Let's see if we can copy through this here. Coronavirus outbreaks in nursing homes and long-term care. We have reached a point that it is undeniable. I got a report a while ago that was sickening, just almost as sickening as the Windmill Ministries being attacked since I come back here in 2014. But the report that I got was that nurses and doctors that either work in hospitals or work in nursing homes or work in standard living places are now being subject to being attacked by people cutting their tires and sabotaging their cars and attacking these people because the victims that fell prey to the coronavirus, their loved ones, feels like that they didn't do an adequate job, and because they didn't do an adequate job, now they're taking their anxieties out on these nurses and out on these doctors and out on these professional people. And I just find that to be just as sickening as it would be if you was to attack a Christian synagogue or a Christian church. I mean, we did not pay close enough attention whenever the ordeal happened down in South Carolina, whenever the idiot went into the church and decided that he was just going to wreak havoc upon the praying people in the center of a church. We did not pay close enough attention to Sandy Hook and West Virginia and other events that has happened throughout this countryside pertaining to these evil demonic people that basically are wreaking havoc upon the society. We did not pay a close enough attention to our international debt and what we was doing pertaining to jailing all these people for nonviolent crimes. But to think that society has turned so wicked that it's actually turning on the people that are trying to help us is an indication of where we are right now towards the Bible fulfilling itself, that in the last days, Satan will rise up in great wrath. In great wrath. And of course, the Bible is very clear that Satan is like a roaring lion seeking who he may. That he's out to kill, steal, and destroy, and he's the author of confusion. And unless we as a society, especially a Christian society, unless we join together in understanding these psychological, demonic, spiritual barriers that we're fighting up against, until we bond together, I'm just afraid that it's going to get worse before it gets better. You know, we have been putting out, the Windmill Ministries has been putting out now for 30 years, trying to prepare people for the inedible. Trying to prepare people of advanced advisories towards what's going to occur. Not just what's going to occur in and on one aspect, but what's going to occur in and on another aspect. And instead of the founder of the Windmill Ministries being rewarded for their endeavors, they've actually been punished. The same way that the doctors and the nurses and people that are trying to maintain civil obedience in doing the Good Samaritan thing towards reaching out and helping people, helping complete total strangers. You know, you have to ask yourself a question. Why would a complete total stranger, someone who has never seen or heard of an individual in their entire lives, why would he or she be willing to put their very own life on the line towards being exposed to a virus, a disease, that could possibly not only make them sick, but could possibly take their very own life? I'm going to tell you why. Because of love. Because of the love that these people, these professionals have towards wanting to care for the sick and the wounded. To care for those who need the care. And to think that the wicked and the demonic and the evil and the barbaric, the uncivilized are responding and reacting towards cutting people's tires and sabotaging their cars and going after these people. It's just mind-boggling to me. I can't hardly even begin to even fathom that anybody would do this. But on the same level, I couldn't fathom the reason why that the Windmill Ministries was being attacked the way that it was being attacked whenever I first come back here in 2014. Because our ministry has always surrounded love, grace. It's always surrounded an atmosphere that only Christ could preserve and promote to the world. And to be attacked, knowing that we were standing up for utopia, knowing that we were standing up for peace, knowing that we were standing up for the very love that the Heavenly Father had for all of His children, all of his creation, still to this day brings a frightening fear into my own existence. Not because of my life, but it's just as Jesus said, weep not for me, but weep for your children and your children's children. Weep for those who you care about. Jesus made it very, very clear. He said, weep not for me. Don't feel sorry for me. I know what's coming on my end. I know what's going to happen as far as my Achilles heel, my fate. I know where I'm heading. And I know the fate that's going to end me there. But all these other people that are going to have to go through all these other sacrifices, that's the reason why Jesus said, weep for them. Weep for them. So as we end this session of this invisible killer, this demon that is out to kill, steal, and destroy, understand that it is only by and with the hand of God that is going to protect any of us in these last days towards what we're facing. Because if you think that you're going to be able to sharpen iron with iron to the point of attacking this invisible enemy with another demonic force, you're only fooling yourself, because it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. It's going to take a requirement of good to overcome this evil stance, this evil parallel that has fallen upon the humanity in these last days. And that's the only thing. That's the only thing that's going to be able to conquer over what we're all facing right now. Humanity has reached a very, very critical, pivotal point in society, in history, to the point that either you're for the Christian society or you're not for us. Either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution to the problem. Either you're with us or against us. And the thing about it is, it's always been that way ever since the beginning of time. And that's the reason why God is talking to the 7 churches in the first 4 chapters of Revelations, telling them again and again and again that I rather you be either hot or cold, that those who are lukewarm, he will spew thee out of thy mouth. In other words, those that are trying to be a fence straddler, those who are playing both sides of the fence, will not make it during this time of trouble. Just as Daniel talks about, that it will be a time of trouble such as humanity has never, ever seen before. And you know, we thought, even during the Contra affairs pertaining to ISIS and the Taliban and the heathenistic activities going on in the Middle East, we thought that we had seen it all. We thought that this was the worst of the very worst. That it's not going to get no worse than a bunch of heathens over there with a bunch of Uzis and a bunch of missile launchers that have hatred ideals towards not only wanting to destroy Israel, the Holy Land, but wanting to destroy America. We thought that we had seen the worst of the worst. Until just recently, in the year 2020, the year of the Jubilee, to the point that now everything is breaking out. From storms to floods to fires to bombs to this to that to that to this to this to that to that to this, to the point of what we're seeing right now on this level. And there will be another wave. Not just one other wave. There'll possibly be many different waves before we finally find a cure, some sort of a pandemic to be able to, not a pandemic, that ain't the word I'm looking for, until we find some sort of an anti-serum that will fight against this disease there will be more waves to come. But who would have thought a microscopic germ that I still believe, the Windmill Ministries believes, that was purposely put here by a demonic force, by a demon. Now, rather not that demon come from Saudi Arabia that created this disease, rather not that demon was created through these wet markets over in China that eat these raw fish and raw bats and other types of raw squid, or rather not it was man-made, intentionally engineered from North Korea to make it look like that it come from a wet market. These are things that we may not never know until we reach the hereafter land. But we do know this. We're under siege. And we're under siege right now in areas that is unimaginable to the human heart and to the human mind. And unless we're willing to come together, pull together, as I have used the illustration before, whenever a bunch of horses or a bunch of cows or a bunch of goats out in a pasture somewhere, all of a sudden, whenever they sense danger and they know that something is lurking, either in the bushes or lurking pertaining to the ground shifting, as far as feeling a major earthquake, or they know something is lurking pertaining to a massive storm, you will watch cattle, horses, goats, animals pull together, and they will confine themselves, and they will get into a circle, and they'll tighten up, and the weakest ones will get in the middle, and the strongest ones will be out on the lines, okay? And these will be the wisest and the strongest, and they'll be looking for what's lurking, and they'll be watching. That way, if something comes out of the bushes towards them, they'll have a fighting chance that not only one will see it coming, but 4, 5, maybe 10, 12, 20 will see it coming, and they'll be able to fight it off. They'll have a fighting chance towards defeating their enemy. We as a society, as a human society, has to learn to do the same thing. We have to learn to pull together, hunker down, dig in. We know this is coming. We can feel it. We can see it. We can hear it. We can sense it. Now, if we're going to survive as a society, what must we do to survive? It ain't getting out here cutting tires. It ain't going after the doctors and the nurses that's trying to save lives. It's not attacking the churches. It's pulling together. That's what's going to save humanity. And if we don't have enough sense to pull together like that, then maybe humanity has reached its pivotal point, to the point that humanity is no longer worth saving. And if that be the case, God have mercy on all of us. Because at the end of this bright tunnel that we're all going to have to confront one day, in either being redeemed or being rejected, at the end of this tunnel, there will be a light for some, but it will also be great darkness for others. This is where we are today, so folks. This is where we are. And I wish that it didn't come to this, to the point that we as a society didn't have to go through what we're going through right now, regardless whether it comes in the form of tornadoes, a coronavirus, a divorce, seeing our kids wasting their lives, being overdosed on drugs, divorces, or having all these abortions take place, or wars, or pestilences, floods, fires. I wish that it didn't have to come to this. But it's obvious that Mother Nature is rearing her ugly head out, and she's letting us know ahead of time that these are the beginning signs of the end of time, just like the Bible talks about that great distress will fall upon to the nations. Good luck to all of us. This is something nationwide that we're all going to have to face in one form or the other if we're alive, kicking up onto this planet. Good luck to each and every one of us in these devastating reports that continue to keep hampering mankind, either in the form of disease or destruction. And may God have mercy on us all, to the point that we hear him say, "Well done. Well done, thy good and faithful servant. For you have been faithful over a few things. Come, enter into the joy of the Lord." Thank you for listening. Good luck to all of us, and shalom. Father God,